So you're looking at starting a brand new YouTube channel, or maybe you're looking at upgrading your equipment from your iPhone to something a little bit better. My name is James Howard Jr. and I've been creating content for the last 5 years. And in this video, we're going to be comparing the Sony ZV-1F to the Sony ZV-1. Which one works best for you as a new content creator, or which one should you upgrade to if you've been using your phone for making content? Let's dive into it. So first, let's talk about the build quality of these things. Now, the Sony ZV-1 is actually the older of the bunch. This is the older brother to the ZV-1F. The build quality on this one, I mean, it's stellar to me. I mean, it feels like it has a little bit of weight. This optical lens, it comes out. You can do stuff like that. We'll talk about this later on. It actually feels like the buttons are tight. The weight of it, it kind of just, it sounds like solid and stuff like that. The build quality is very, very good. Now, the build quality on the ZV-1F is good too, but there's an obvious difference. It feels a little cheaper, right? Sony makes great quality stuff, and so it's not cheap by a long shot, but you can kind of tell, like, compared to the ZV-1, it kind of feels a little bit cheaper, right? But that's simply because it just has less in it. It doesn't have the big lens that's in there that moves around, the optical lens. It has a fixed lens down here that doesn't move, and so there's a lot less packed into this machine, but it's still a great camera. Like I said earlier, the ZV-1 has this optical lens that zooms from 24 millimeters to 70 millimeters, and it's pretty cool. The ZV-1X has a fixed 20 millimeter lens, which is pretty good for like vlogging and stuff like that. Now, those millimeters make a difference when you're doing things like vlogging, and I'm going to switch to the cameras now. You can kind of tell which one right here has the wider angle. Both of my arms are the same length as far as I know, and I have them at an equal length away from my face. You can see right here with the Sony ZV-1 that it's real tight on my face. It's real kind of up close, and it's kind of like, yo bro, kind of step back bro, you all up in my face. And then the ZV-1F kind of gives me a little bit more room. I feel like, you know, my personal space is not being invaded, right? Invaded personal space, not so invaded, right? And so you can put this thing on tripods, a little hand grips and stuff like that, and have it even at a further difference. But I mean, this is the difference right here. You can tell, same arm length. Like I said, I think both of my arms are the same length. I've never measured them before, but you can tell the difference depending on what kind of content you're trying to create. This is showing a lot more of the background that I really didn't want to show y'all right there. And this one is kind of tight, you know, I kind of, you know, keeping y'all on my business. So yeah, those are the two lenses. Very good build quality. Man, these things are amazing. Now let's talk about build quality. Now with the test you just saw, you see that the actual quality of the cameras are similar, which is, you know, should be, because they both have the same size sensor and they were both recording at 4K at 30 frames per second. And if you want to do some slow-mo shots and stuff like that, both of these can shoot in 1080p up to 120 frames per second, which, if you don't know what that means, it gives you a slower, more crisp, less choppy type of slow motion type of, you know, look. I don't know what kind of slow motion stuff you want to do. I don't really just, you know, run around doing stuff in slow motion, but that's good if you're trying to do cinematic shots and different things like that. Both of these cameras can handle that. Now, the ZV-1, the original bad boy right here, it has a little bit more packed in as far as video quality. One thing that I actually like, even though this one is not as good for vlogging and different things like that because of the angle, it does have what they call a built-in ND filter. Now, that is simply like sunglasses for your camera. If you go outside and you're trying to record something and the sun is like blazing, there's a feature, that ND filter, that you can put on here, and it kind of helps things out. I'm gonna try to test it. It's really cold outside, so I'm not gonna go outside to try to test this, but I'm gonna try to shine this at the camera or the light that I have right here, and then I'm going to turn on the ND filter, and that may be able to help you guys see right here. So ND filter off, ND filter on. You see how now it's showing more details of the actual lamp, and when you're outside, it really helps to kind of not make you look like you're just blown out and that's just real blurry and you can't really see anything. It really helps that. So that's one thing, one leg up that the Sony ZV-1 has over the ZV-1F right here. The ZV-1 actually performs a little bit better when it's not as much light. So when there's low light situations, when you're inside, you know, things shift around when you don't have control of the lights. Now in this setting that we are right now, the quality is going to be good for both of them because we're in a studio setting. I have control of all of my lights. I have control of how much sun is coming in through the window. And so both of these will perform well on the inside if you're trying to use it for, like, you know, studio type of stuff for maybe your video podcast or something like that. If you want to geek out about more details, I'm not that guy. And so you can look up online as far as, like, you know, what sensors and all the other specs, stuff like that. Just want to give you general information to see if any of these work best for you as you seek to create better content as we move into the new year. Now let's talk about autofocus. So as you can see, the autofocus for both of these bad boys is really, really good. It really zooms in pretty good. It kind of doesn't blur my face. But here's the thing, the Sony ZV-1 has an autofocus that is more digital and optical, and then the Sony ZV-1F has more of a contrasty kind of thing where it relies more on your background and lighting to kind of get you in focus, which can sometimes make it kind of hard for you to get as good of a quality of a picture as the ZV-1. So that's a little bit of a trade-off you get. I personally really like the Sony ZV-1 autofocus, and it's just pretty cool. One thing you can do on both of these that I think is pretty cool is they have this thing called like showcase mode or whatever. So if you have, like, you know, some content that you want to show them and you're on here and you're just like, yo, I want to show you this remote control, you put it up, it focuses on that. Come on, stop acting up. It focuses on that thing. When you put it away, it focuses on your face. The same thing with the Sony ZV-1F. You put it up there, hey, I want to show you all this random remote control. It focuses on that thing, get my eyes out of there, and then it focuses back on me. I hope it did it. I really hope it did. I can't tell on the small screen. So there we go. If it didn't work, it works. Trust me, I've seen it work before. So that's pretty cool. Now let's talk a little bit about stabilization. Now this is important if you're really just planning on vlogging. I don't really use these for vlogging too much, but as far as specs are concerned, the ZV-1 right here has better kind of, you know, stabilization that kind of flows with you. It's because of the lens. The lens that's on here can kind of give you a little bit more leeway. The ZV-1F can kind of struggle to kind of stabilize if you're walking around and stuff like that. I'm trying to, like, you know, simulate walking around, but it's just a little bit smoother on the ZV-1 right there. But again, you get this wide angle with the ZV-1F that is just kind of hard to beat. And so if you're really not, you know, planning to vlog or do anything like that, I don't really think that matters for you or anything like that. But if you do, it's something you want to consider on both of these machines, and maybe, you know, do a little bit more research before you purchase one, depending on what you want to create. Now let's talk about the audio. Both of these have built-in microphones that sound pretty good. This is the audio test for the Sony ZV-1 onboard microphone. How does it sound to you? This is the audio test for the Sony ZV-1F. How does this sound to you? Both of these were about at arm's length, that if you're doing some type of vlogging, you can. Now, they both do have a built-in headphone jack. That way you can add other types of microphones. You can attach like wireless microphones like this directly in there with the right dongles. If you have a shotgun microphone that you can actually put on top, that works too. And you can always improve your audio, which is always great to do as soon as you can do it, to help you just have better video and better audio and higher quality. It's gonna just make video better. I have a video coming up soon where we test different wireless microphones, so make sure that you are subscribed so that you can get that information later. Now let's talk about connectivity. Both of these cameras can connect to Wi-Fi. They can connect to the Sony app where you can actually send pictures to your phone. Both of them have Bluetooth, so you can connect to things like this Sony grip that helps you to wirelessly connect and control your camera when you're going out vlogging and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Another thing that's pretty cool specifically about the Sony ZV-1F, it is a newer camera. I believe it actually came out either 2023 or 2024. Let me check my source. Nah, I was wrong. This thing came out 2 years ago, but it is still newer than the ZV-1F that came out in 2020. So yeah, the Sony ZV-1F, it has a USB-C that you can actually plug it into your computer and use it as a webcam. Now here's the thing about it, it only outputs to I think 720p, which is not full HD, but if you want to, you can get something like this capture card, which you will need for the Sony ZV-1 because it just has a micro USB, I believe, and it doesn't connect directly to your computer as a webcam. Both of them can be connected to your computer with something like this, a capture card that you can just plug up to your computer and use an HDMI port and just plug this up to your USB, and just make sure you have the right dongles and different things like that, and then you can use your camera as a webcam. I personally use my ZV-1 as my webcam for when I'm doing things like live streaming on my other channel and stuff like that, man. Yeah, that's a capture card right there. There's a lot of different kinds that you can get. I'll link to all of these products down below in the description, and so don't worry about trying to write everything down. You can just click below and purchase either the cameras, capture cards, and other knickknacks that are down there. Knickknacks. Yeah, anyway, yeah, purchase other things down there. Now let's talk about how much these things cost. Now here's the thing, if you're using your iPhone, you probably spend a lot of money on your iPhone, and if you're just trying to get started and haven't started yet, your iPhone is a great thing that you already have that has a good camera already, so use that. But if you've been using your iPhone for a while, you like, yo, I want to upgrade, y'all, these things aren't horrible compared to other cameras. The Sony ZV-1F ranges anywhere between $400 to $600 depending on where you're shopping. I personally had bought this one used, and I didn't spend nearly as much as $500 on this one right here. I can't remember the exact price, but it was pretty cheap, and it came used, had a couple scratches and stuff on it, but this thing works fine. It works great, and it provides me an opportunity to make better content because I have two cameras now, so this one is pretty good. So around $400 depending on where you're shopping for the ZV-1F. Now, just a side note for the Sony ZV-1F, this is really the cheapest Sony camera that you can buy right now that's, you know, high quality, that's pretty good. So if you're just trying to get into the Sony ecosystem, this is a great place to start for anywhere between $400 to $600 depending on where you're trying to find this thing. Now the Sony ZV-1, it is a little bit older, but it is a little bit better of a camera as far as features and different things that are packed into this body. For the Sony ZV-1F, you're looking at anywhere between $650 to $700, maybe even $800 depending on where you shop. Don't buy this thing for $800. You can find this thing online for way cheaper than that. I actually bought this one used as well, and it's been working fine. I've had this for almost 3 years now, and it's never given me any problems at all. So let me know in the comments, which one will you be picking up? At the time of recording, it is the holiday season. It's not Christmas quite yet, and Thanksgiving has gone, but you can probably find these for, like, you know, different cyber sales and different things like that, or maybe different local places around where you stay may have these at cheaper prices. So make sure that you are doing your research when you're getting these things, and like I said before, let me know in the comments which one you are picking up. But here's the thing, man, you can buy the best camera and spend thousands and thousands of dollars on any type of camera you want and still have content that looks like trash. In this next video, I'm going to show you some different settings that you need to be aware of on your camera, and some different things like lighting that'll help your image look very similar to this one, because this video has been recorded on an iPhone 14. Go ahead and click this video right here, and I'll show you how I make my stuff look like what you're seeing right now.